All right, today we are only talking about inscribed angles. As usual, I have a bunch of pens, probably more than I need, but we're specifically just doing an intro to inscribed angles. We'll go more into it on Wednesday. So if you want, you can pause the video, get down number 1, the date, and these 3 little rules about inscribed angles. I'll let you pause it, then I'll talk about this. Okay, so a couple things we need to know. The angle, so an inscribed angle is when there's an angle where its vertex is on the circle, and then these 2 other sides, they're chords. We've been working with chords. We should see that these are obviously chords. All right, number 2, an intercepted arc is the arc that lies between the endpoints of the inscribed angle. So right here would be the intercepted arc. Then number 3, measurement of the inscribed angle. This is something we're going to turn into a formula. So make sure you have these 3 things down. Let's get into labeling this. All right, so let's start off with Z. What is Z? It's the center of the circle, and it's something we don't really use unless there's a line going directly through it. Here it's not, but this is a center. We would label this just Z. All right, this right here, this is an arc, but according to this, it's an intercepted arc. All right, and we label this using AL and a little arc hat. All right, Q. Q is your vertex, right? It's the point of this angle. And if I wanted to name this angle here, it'd be AQL. Angle AQL. You could say LQA, that's also fine. All right, let's get into some practice problems. We're gonna need this little number 3 we have. So I'm gonna do this. The measure of an inscribed angle. So I'm gonna write INS angle is equal to half the measurement of its intercepted arc. So it's equal to half of the arc, or arc divided by 2. All right, I can also switch this, right? 2 times this gives you the arc. Let's work through a practice problem. First thing they tell us, arc WY is equal to 62 degrees. So I need to use this to figure out what's the measure of angle WXY. So I need to figure out what is this in here. Well, if this is 62, I know I'm either going to be dividing by 2 or multiplying by 2. Your inscribed angle, the angle, is half of your arc. So this would be 62 divided by 2. What does that give you? 31. Problem's done. Let's take a look at this problem. They tell me this is 100 degrees. Now, let's think about this. This angle in here is 100 degrees, right? It kind of looks like a right angle. It's not, but this is 100 degrees. What does the edge of the circle make a sum of? 360. Could this be 100 degrees and what? This is gonna be 130 and 130, that doesn't make sense. Could this be 50 degrees? No, right? So we hopefully know that we're gonna take this number and we're gonna multiply it by 2. 100 times 2 is 200 degrees. And that's what all of this is. Since this is 100, all of the rest of this is 200. So when they ask us for the measure of arc QTS, that is 200 degrees. All right, 3 more problems we're gonna be going through. You will need a calculator soon. You're fine for now. All right, problem has a little bit more to deal with. Let's start off by dealing with our given information. AB is the diameter. So this right here from A to B is your diameter. Why do we know it's the diameter? Just by looking at it, it goes through the center, right? A line that goes through the center is your diameter. Measure of ABC is 45. So from A to B to C, this angle in here is 45 degrees. They want us to find the measure of arc BC. Arc BC is this red line over here. All right, so we're gonna have to use what we got to fill in some stuff, right? BC is gonna be the last thing we can figure out. Let's start off with this 45-degree angle. If this is 45 degrees, what's this? Well, you're gonna take this, you're gonna multiply it by 2, and that's gonna give you 90 degrees. So from A to C is 90. Believe it or not, I can use the fact that this is the diameter to figure out what this arc is. Think about what the arcs all add up to. 360 degrees. What's that divided by 2? Because that's what the diameter does. It cuts it in half. So 360 divided by 2 is 180. Also, diameter makes a semicircle. Measure of a semicircle, 180 degrees. All right, so I now have 90. I have 180. I need to figure out BC. What do I know my pink, my red, and my blue line add up to? They're gonna add up to 360, right? So 180 plus 90 is 270. I subtract 270 on both sides, and I end up with 90. This right here would also be 90. All right? Number 5. We're only going through 2 more problems together, just by the way. All right, so number 5, we have to solve for x. So pause the video, get this problem down. Okay. We don't have much information, but I'm going to start outlining what we have. The measure of this arc out here is 158. The measure of this angle in here is 8x minus 9. I have enough information to solve for x, right? I have an 8x minus 9, and I have a 158. But we're going to be doing the same thing we've been doing. These are inscribed angles, right? Because the vertex is out here on the edge. So I'm either taking this and multiplying it by 2 or taking this and multiplying it by 2. Think about what is half of what. What is double of what? All right? This is 2 times whatever this was. So if I want to set these equal to each other, I have to take this inside angle. You take your angle and you multiply it by 2. Angle times 2. So we can even do a formula above it. So 2 times your angle gives you your arc. So 2 times whatever the angle was gives you the arc. 2 times 8x is 16x. 2 times negative 9 is negative 18. 158, we didn't do anything to it, so you leave it the same. A mistake a lot of students make is they don't realize that they have to distribute once you start bringing in variables like this. So make sure you do that. All right, now I start combining like terms, moving things from left to right. I have nothing to combine on the left side, nothing to combine on the right side, so I can actually start moving things from left to right. Over here, we have just a regular 158, so we're gonna move over our term that does not have a variable. I add 18 to both sides. 16x, right, because these cancel, is equal to 176. My last step would be to divide by 16. This is when I said you would need your calculator. 176 divided by 16 and we get 11. These canceled. I have x equals 11. What did the problem ask for? What's x? 11. All right, one last problem before you're doing some practice problems on your own. Pause the video, get this down. Okay, so given this is equal to 67 degrees. So let's find this. LMN. We know it's talking about the angle and not the arc, right? This is a symbol for angle. So right in here is 67 degrees. Right in there is 67 degrees. Next it says, measure of arc LN is 4x plus 58. So the arc from L to N is 4x plus 58. We're doing the same thing we did up here, right? So I'm going to start off with the formula we came up with. 2 times whatever the angle is going to give you the arc. So 2 times, what was my angle? 67. Will give you whatever the arc is. You don't do anything to the arc. What was my arc? 4x plus 58. Think for a second, what should be your first step? Hopefully you say 2 times 67. 2 times 67. 134 is equal to 4x plus 58. What do we do next? Subtract 58 on both sides. Right? We get 74 is equal to 4x, I believe. Oh, 76, I'm sorry. 76 is equal to 4x, divide by 4. 76 divided by 4, and you get x equals 19. All right, we're ready for some practice problems. Give me 1 second. I'm going to give you 2 problems to start. Once you get the 2 problems, I would pause the video, try them on your own. Okay, pause the video. All right. So let's look at this problem first. Measure of AB is whatever. So A to B will be 360 minus 120 minus 130, right? Because all of this is going to equal 360. So minus 120 minus 130, you get 110. Then if I want to figure out what this angle in here is, I have to take 110 and think, do I divide by 2 or multiply by 2? Hopefully you remember that we divide by 2. 110 divided by 52, by 110 divided by 2 is 55. I'm sorry, I'm a bit all over the place right now. All right, and then number 8. So you can start where you want, but if this is 70, take that, multiply by 2, you get 140. Then what does this plus this add up to? Again, 360. Solve for x, 17. All right, 2 more practice problems. Oops, just dropped some stuff. All right, pause the video. All right, start with what we know. We have this angle, we have this arc. Think back to the formula, right? Which is 2 times your angle will equal your arc. So 2 times my angle would be 2 times this. And that would give you my arc. You solve for x and you get 9, but think. They wanted the measure of angle RWS. RWS was 5x minus 16. You take x and you plug in what you got in for x, 9. Measure of angle RWS is equal to 29 degrees. All right, and we have one last problem, similar to what we've been doing. So pause the video. All right, we're back to the same formula we've been using, which is 2 times your angle is equal to your arc. What was my angle? I'm doing 2 times 5x plus 10. I don't forget to distribute. I set that equal to 12x plus 6. This problem only wanted you to solve for x, 7. All right, that is today's lesson.